Hall of
The
Famer.
old school Iversons on.
Yes, sir.
Here with the Hall of Famer, Andre Ward. Andre, what's up, man? See you on the scene. What brings you out to the fights, man?
Man, I'm working with a main event, the main broadcaster out of Australia. So, obviously Tim Tszyu making a lot of noise in Australia, and then he's bringing it here, obviously, to the States. So, got the call, it made sense, so here I am.
Well, I know you've been preaching back home in California, but so you're saying the broadcasting career, that's not over then?
Man, I just, I get a lot of calls for a lot of stuff, bro, and I'm grateful that I'm in a position where I can really decide what I want to do. I don't have to do much of anything if I don't want to. So I still enjoy it. I like, it's a lot that I love about the game and being around the game, and some things that I don't necessarily like being around the game. So I pick my spots when I come into town to be a part of something. But this one made sense. So yeah.
We got some. I don't want to keep you too long, so we got to get to some of the big fights on the calendar. Haney and Garcia is coming up. Who are you leaning towards in that fight right now, Andre?
I mean, even before all the stuff with Garcia, you gotta, I think just the consistency that Devin has shown, the maturation, the growth, and he's trending, right, and he's trending in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, he's got momentum. That's the word I'm looking for. So I think you got to favor him. But they got history. They know each other's style, not in the pros, but in the amateurs. So a lot changes since the amateurs, but they know each other. And but given the variable of sort of what you're seeing and hearing from Ryan Garcia, that makes things interesting too. I don't really know what to make of it. My thing is, I just hope that the fight actually happens, and I'm excited to see it take place.
Dre, how do you feel about Devin Haney picking up the torch as a Bay Area athlete and boxer? When you put down for the Bay Area so long, he hosted the fight in San Francisco.
I love it. I think that's what you're supposed to do. That's what it's what it's about. It's like your records. They're supposed to be broken. This ain't just about me. So for Dev to go do what he did is a blessing. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's all good.
It's been about 6 to 7 years since you retired.
Dang, it's been that long.
Yeah, you look in great shape, man. I know people ask you this all the time. Yeah. How you feel, as far as you ever get that itch to come back? And, are you good? You came out with the documentary and the book. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man. You always had an itch, man. I'm hardwired a certain kind of way, so that's not gonna go nowhere, But you just learn, how to manage the itch better, and just as motivated as I was for fighting, I'm motivated to do other things, bro. It's like, like I think in boxing we dull of hearing. So when fighters are saying stuff like I'm more than a fighter, or man, we got to get the a union together, like people ain't really trying to hear it. So it's more about you showing them. So I'm not doing what I'm doing to prove anything, but I hope that what I'm doing is showing people that I am more than just a fighter. I got a lot more to bring to this earth, to the world. The boxing is cool, man, but it ain't just about that. So what good is it if I'm hanging around Las Vegas for the next 10 years trying to put on events and I don't have my faculties, or I'm dealing with stuff that y'all don't know I'm dealing with? Like, what good is that? So, man, I got other gifts, talents, abilities, and other things God has called me to do, man. So I'm just trying to walk in those. I'm just trying to exercise those. I come back to boxing for a little bit, tap in, and most of my work for boxing is really offline. It's stuff that y'all don't see. Tapping in with the athletes, being there for them, pulling up on them. That's really what my role is, but it's really offline. So people think, oh, he's not around. It's like, now I'm around a little bit more than you think, just not in front of the cameras a lot.
It's been 20 years. 2004, you won the Olympic gold medal
That's
in Athens.
Crazy too.
We Paris.
Making me feel
old. Paris this year, 2004 to 2024. What do we have to do on the men's side, with the exception of Clarissa on the women's, to win a gold medal for the Team USA?
Well, I've been speaking about this before. It's like similar to what I said about the Haney question, is that, I'm the last male gold medalist. That's not a record that I want. Somebody's supposed to pick that torch up and put their name where my name currently is. And USA Boxing, they get mad when I speak about this stuff, but we got to get our stuff together internally. And there's a lot of things that should be done better, I believe. But one of the things is you have to include and pull on, the alumni. I can't stress that enough. Other countries, they do it. They even hire the former fighters. All the top countries, they do it. We want to squeeze out the athletes where we got to almost fight and finesse to get in. Like, well, man, let me come around this time, around this training camp. Oh, it's not gonna work. All right, there's always a reason why we can't, and that hurts the athlete. Nobody's trying to take credit for the work, but the athletes need to be around people who have walked that walk and accomplished what they're trying to accomplish. So that's like one big thing that I think that we got to do better in. But as a whole, we got the best talent in the world, I believe. We got to really do some soul searching and ask some tough questions. Why are we not winning medals? We won a couple silver medals and we celebrate it. It's cool. That's a blessing. But we should be winning gold medals. The standard is not bronze. The standard is not silver. The standard is gold. That's what the other country's fighting for. So we coming in here just happy to be there, and they say gold or bust. So we got to figure that out.
Do you think when it comes to bringing in old champions, they're worried they can't afford you guys and your services and time? Like that's part of it?
I mean, I think all that stuff could be worked out, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that. Yeah.
What do you think of Jamal Harvey and Raheem Gonzalez? Like they look like two guys that could win the gold.
I like it, man. I hope they do. I think it's crazy that it's been 20 years since we've had a male, but that's crazy to me.
Right.
Like that ain't right.
You were talking earlier about like Devin Haney's trending in the right direction. Do you think he's trending towards being number one pound for pound?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And I say that because if you could say what you want to say about the Haneys. One thing Devin took from Floyd and one thing Devin got is a work ethic. Mm-hmm. That's probably over half the battle. You step in his camp, you see an organized ran camp. You see, massage therapists. You see trainers. You see order. Strength and conditioning coach, track coach. You see the stuff that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. The only way he won't do it is if he gets beat and something happens, and that can happen. It's boxing. But in terms of putting himself in position, he's doing that. You got to respect that.
He's also kind of bigger, just bigger frame than the other great young guns. Is that part of it too?
I mean, that's not really. Yeah, it's not really.
Do you, do you think he could stop Ryan? Because it seems like from what Ryan's saying, he's going to come out guns blazing.
Man, we gonna see. Ryan has said a lot of stuff. We gonna see.
Dre, I'm curious what you think about Jaron Ennis, as far as his career. Those fighters who are high risk, low reward. We hear that a lot. What do you think about Ennis, and what can he do to get in position so that he's bringing more to the table, as people like to say?
Man, it sounds like he's getting his promoter situation together. I know he has some issues with his promoter. So I think positioning himself either with the right team or having the right system in place, right? Like the Haneys didn't just go one promoter for 5 years. They had a system in place. Just what we gonna do. You gotta have a plan. You can't just fight. So either get you the right promoter, somebody you can align with, that you agree with, or get a plan. I'm not saying they don't, but you got to get a plan. You got to kind of fast track it because the skill level is there. World-class talent, world-class ability, just need the opportunity. So I don't think he's far off. I just think the timing right now with somebody like Crawford and Spence, they're not interested, and I don't think you could really knock them. And some people say, well, how you going to say that about Canelo but not Crawford? It's a difference, bro. Terrence Crawford fought the best dude in the division. Did he not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You can fight number one, then you can go fight a B-level guy, C-level guy. You should not fight top fighters every single time out. I know they used to do that. That ain't good for your health. Go ahead and fight the top guy, then you can say, man, I'm going to pick and choose one or two. But then if you see another dude that's rumbling in the press, the performances are backing up what the press is saying, you got to take that risk at a certain point in time. So it's different with Terrence Crawford. So I don't knock Terrence and say, oh, you ain't fighting Boots. And I don't know all the details. I've heard that Terrence has made them offers that they turned down. Don't know the validity of it. They say that they want to fight. They said that publicly. So it's hard to really stand on something and say what's what. But I've heard that Terrence has made offers to this dude. So it's tough to say. I got a lot of love for Boots, man, and I think his time is coming. But he's just in an era right now, in a time where, man, it's just rough on him in terms of getting the opportunity. But I think it's coming.
What do you think of Terrence fighting the winner of Saturday's fight, Zoo and Fundora? He's made himself the mandatory for the win.
I think it could be good. But then all of a sudden we see a tweet from Errol Spence.
Right.
So Errol Spence, from what I know, is not going to tweet nothing like that unless there's some backdoor conversations going on saying you in position. So it's going to be interesting to see it play out.
Kind of to your point earlier about, my bad, champ, but kind of to your point earlier about, like, you got to fight the top guy. If you're Tim Tszyu, in that scenario, do you got to fight Terrence Crawford instead of Errol Spence? Because he won that big fight. You got,
it's tricky, bro. Like, you would think that he would want the Terrence Crawford, right?
Right.
But Errol ain't no pushover. He's still a big name. And if Tim Tszyu, I don't know. I just met Tim Tszyu yesterday for the first time. If he feels like he's not quite ready for Crawford, and it's an if, I don't know. Man, I get Errol Spence, still a big name, big opportunity, big payday, and then maybe I can get Terrence Crawford. I I wouldn't be shocked if that's his thinking. So we thinking, man, go to the top dude. You get all the money, you get everything in one shot. How does he feel he matches up with Terence Crawford? I don't know. Errol just came off of what he came off of.
How do you think he matches with Terence Crawford, Tim Tszyu?
I think it's a dangerous fight for both guys. But I got to lean toward the dude that been there, done that, and showed that he can, he been at that level too long for me to say that, Tim Tszyu, you got to prove it. Prove me wrong.
I only have a few more questions, and they're both kind of like from your boxing IQ. You're known as one of the smartest fighters, technical fighters.
Yeah.
First, for Errol, in the rematch, possibly with Bud at 154, a lot of people thought it was a physical thing. Some people say it's a skill gap. What do you think Errol can do to defeat Terence Bud Crawford?
But they're not going to fight, though. Yeah, I thought the rematch wasn't going to happen. Am I missing something?
Well, if Errol fights the winner of Tim Tszyu versus Fundora, it could. If they both move to 54, they might end up clashing again.
Yeah, listen, man, like, anything is possible, bro, but it's not going to be easy to overcome that. And for Errol, it's not going to be easy to overcome that. That's a lot of psychological stuff that goes into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hardwired all these years to be the guy. I'm a big fish, and he was, right? And then when that happens against the other top dog, I don't care who you are. You got to do some soul searching. You got to do some digging. You're going to have good days and bad days. It's like somebody died. Like, bro, how did that happen? So that's the first thing you got to overcome. Then you got to see how your body's going to respond. Not just in camp. You got to see how it's going to respond in that fight. You get hit with them small gloves on. Can my body still take it? So it's legitimate questions that Errol Spence has to answer for himself, for the world, and everybody else. So I would like to see him in a fight before I can answer that question about what he needs to do against Terence Crawford, because it's some serious questions he has to answer. And that's with any fighter that went through what he went through.
And you cleaned up at 68. You went to 75. I'm curious what you think about David Benavidez, who was at 68, moved at 175.
Yeah.
I always think about fantasy fights, and David's such a different type of, his build and his size and his unique hand speed. How would you approach a fight with David Benavidez at 168? What do you think about him? Could he fight in any era? Could he fight in your era and hold it down? What do you think?
I think he could. I think he's got the mentality and the style where he could fight in any era. That wouldn't be an easy fight for me. Just because of his length, his size, and the volume. You gotta be able to shut that down. Obviously I can give you a list of reasons why I think I'm gonna win the fight, and he's gonna feel like he will win the fight. So, but I think, man, he's just a unique fighter given his size and the volume that he punches, and that alone is a problem for guys. Like, it's hard to face a guy who has volume and power and a tough mentality. Normally you can say, well, he got volume but he ain't tough. Or he got volume but he can't take a shot. Can't really say that about David Benavidez, at least not to this point. So he'll be a tough go for anybody in any era, I believe.
And just to go back a little history, I sent you a message on this documentary called The Black Murderers Row, about 8 black fighters who fought each other almost 100 times. Some of them had 200-300 fights. They were qualified, but they didn't get an opportunity. I respect you because you're one of the main fighters that I always remember, kind of gave your opinion on things, the disparities in boxing. Did you get a chance to check in?
I haven't yet.
If not, have you ever heard of, the Charlie Burleys, the Burt Littells? Yep. Have you heard of those guys?
Not all of them, but Burley I definitely heard of. Yeah. I've been compared to Burley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. He fought from like 54, or they didn't have 54 back then, but he fought from like middleweight to heavyweight, right? Charlie Burley,
man, that's the thing too. I'm going to say this and I'm going to let y'all go. Like, I understand we got weight classes for a reason, and I understand a lot of those guys, they had to do that just to make money and get an opportunity. But, man, I've been hearing more fighters comment about weight, like what a fighter is the night of the fight. He's bigger than me than I ever have in my life. And my thing is like, I wish you would come in 20 pounds over what you came in at 20 hours or 24 hours. I wish you would. Kovalev came in, man, I'm licking my child. I wish you would. All that means is you took off a lot of weight and your body rebounded, and yeah, I'm gonna get all that up out of you. I'm gonna make you feel the weight loss and all the stuff. Like that's like, you should be happy about that. It is a size thing, but it ain't a size thing from a to a point where you can't overcome it. So it's just interesting to me hearing fighters, man, say so much about he's gonna be bigger than me. Like, for them to concede that openly and publicly, it's amazing to me. Like, yeah, that's some of the story, but like, that's not a good thing. And I get the Joey Gamache and, you know, Arturo Gotti when Arturo did what he did to him, but that's the exception, not the rule. If you know how to fight, you can neutralize a fighter's height, a fighter's reach, a fighter's power, a fighter's skill. Like,
is part of this in reference to Canelo with David and Tank with Haney?
No, I'm saying just in general. I've heard a lot of fights, ain't just them.
Right.
I don't I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I get it, like, you got to factor that in. Like, man, he going to come in kind of heavy fight night. But that's something me and my team talk about. Like, for them to use that as a reason why there needed to be a weight stipulation or a reason why, like, I'm not taking a fight, I ain't really never heard of that. So that's yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
What fighter you think is cut from your cloth? I feel like I know who you gonna say, but I mean, name maybe 2 or 3 fighters that you think, like, you know, as far as, man, I'll fight anybody. I'm not worried about the size. I'll move up. You know, if I got to step to you, I'll step to you.
It's tough. I would say it's probably for sure more fighters, but ones that I can say, man, I'm putting the house on. I can only say really Terrence Crawford right now, and Errol. It's not about wins and losses. It's about the willingness. So Errol is definitely that guy. He ain't duck no smoke.
I'm sorry, I never heard your response or you comment on Bud potentially fighting Canelo. I know it's probably not going to happen, but what do you think about that?
I think that's a great matchup for Bud.
You think Canelo handles Munguia?
I believe so. Yeah, Munguia is tough. He's a good fighter. It ain't a gimme fight by no stretch, but I think he should come out on top of that.
What happened with your guy Triple G? You know what I'm saying? We always look at the footage of you saying, you know, he had an opportunity.
Man,
I remember you
what
did it
with that, man.
Why was it a good fight for Bud?
Andre, he's too big.
Y'all know what happened with that, man.
We haven't heard much from Triple G either. You know, I mean, is he retired?
I don't know.
How you think that fight? You think you would have knocked him out, stopped him?
That's a fight I win, bro. You know that. Yeah, we talked about this.
Find
before.
a way to win.
Why did you say that's a good fight for Terrence though, Canelo? Like, that's the fight he wins when you got everyone questioning the weight. Could he take the impact of a full 68-pounder like Canelo with power? But
something you got to think about, factor in. But
right.
A lot of times that's civilians saying that. The weight, like, that's cool. You bigger than me, okay. That don't mean you stronger. Oh, he punches hard. I punch hard too. You don't think you can get knocked out? Like, it's just you talk about mentalities. You talk about throwback, like right. That's what that is. We bring up the older fighters. By the time we just name, I'm not saying you doing it, but saying last time we name dropped the older fighters just so we say, oh, I know my history. But do you understand the history behind the name? Like, what these guys are willing to do? So, yeah, like Errol is one of them guys. Terrence is one of them guys. Boots seems to be one of them guys. Old school teaching. His father's not a coach, he's a teacher. But he has to prove it, right? Like, he's got to have the tough fights and go through it and prove it. But he seemed like he passed the eye test. But those are two, Errol and Terrence Shakur, I believe, has that mentality. He's a dude, you like, hey, bro, you can't, like, you want to spar the best guy in the gym all the time. You want to, like, he's got that mentality, you know? So it's a handful of guys that I see, and it's more, you know, if I really sat and thought about it, but it's not a lot.
How did Shakur get away from that, you know, the infamous boring label and, you know, when you basically, you know, boxing and people want to see you brawl, you went through that, Mayweather went through that, Lara went through that. Yeah. How you get away from that?
It's part of the game, man. You just gotta fight your way out of it. You gotta fight your way out of it. I had to deal with it, Floyd had to deal with it. You gotta fight your way out of it. You know, this boxing, so our off nights or bad nights, it's just in front of the world. The rest of the world, you can have off night, off day at work, we'll never know. We just got cameras and we got the whole world watching. So, but I like that for Shakur though.
My last one for you.
Let me finish this real quick.
Okay.
And I tell him all the time, say, you can't be the big dog if you don't know how to deal with this. Yeah, you got to be able to shoulder that. You got to be able to stand up under that. Yeah, that come with it. I'm the best. Okay. So what you asking for when you say you want to be the best is you got to deal with that pressure. Not just in the ring, out of the ring. You got to deal with people doubting you. You got to deal with people saying you're not who you know you are. You got to have a reason to do this, bro. So your reasons may have started out, I want to make some money, I want to be a champion. You did that already. What's your reasons now? So your reasons why you do this, it evolves over time. So it ain't just I want to prove y'all wrong, but you know that that's part of it. I gotta continue to show y'all like that I am who I say that I am. So I don't look at that what Shakur went through the last couple months as a bad thing. I look back and say, yeah, it's good. It's good for him. Keep you humble. Keep you in that gym. Yeah, that stuff is good. You can't be the top dog and not shoulder pressure like that. And I think he's doing a great job of it.
It's like Jay-Z made a song, and he was saying that when you're the man and you enter the arena, everybody is coming for you. The bullseye is on your back. They feeling like, if I can upstage you, then I'm the man. So, like you said, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
And everybody, you know, you have a slip up, they're gonna take a shot. You know, it's a lot of YouTubers, a lot of internet reporters, and it's some that do a great job. Some of y'all do a great job, but then there's people that's just talking the talk. But then you got to realize too that everybody don't like you, which is fine. It's part of the game, bro. Come with this thing.
Right.
Where do you as a fighter ever look? Oh, go ahead.
I just one last one for you.
Yeah.
Do those young guys, do they reach out to you? Do you have relationships with them as far as like mentoring? And if so, who? Like, what can you tell us about?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give a lot of names, but I talk to a lot of guys, man, and you know, some guys, you know, reach out for various reasons. They want you to try to fix it, or they think, you know, hey, you can give them the special antidote, and it's like, it don't work like that, bro. Like, I can give you what I can give you, but it don't work like that. And then you got some guys that are really like, man, hey, can you be a resource for me, man? Can I call you when I need you? Absolutely. There's guys that I go pull up to their camp, you know, for 3-4 days, a week or whatever it is. So absolutely, man, and that's part of how I pay it forward. I didn't always have guys like that. You know what I'm saying? I had local guys. I didn't really have a guy at the highest level that I could reach out to, so I try to be that guy.
Now, I got to ask you this. Canelo Kovalev.
That's me. That's me.
I thought that was
We
you.
look a little bit like, huh? That's Kurt.
From Reno, way back.
Yeah, but who you with?
Boxing Insider.
I thought you was
CHAMPSIDE
CHAMPSIDE.
right here, the one-man
Wait a
army
second,
right
man.
here.
I seen
This the
you in
one-man
LA
army
though.
right here.
You see me, yeah.
I seen you in LA.
And a couple times, yeah.
I know I've seen you multiple
I
times,
seen
but
you
I
in
seen
LA.
you.
We just look alike, that's all. I
Bro,
talked to
I
you
thought
in
that
LA.
was CHAMPSIDE. Why you keep letting me say CHAMPSIDE?
That's why I told him to come through.
That was me.
Yeah, bro, I thought that was you, bro.
I look back and immediately I thought they was
Boxing
brothers. Brand to the
Inside.
land for the
CHAMPSIDE, what's up, baby?